Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another book review. Today we are switching things up a little bit because instead of reviewing just one book, I'm actually going to be reviewing three. I'm going to be talking about all three books in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I will be reviewing each book individually, and then at the end I'll go back through and I'll give a rating for the entire series as a whole. I would like to start with a disclaimer. If you have not read the series yet and you plan on it, I would suggest waiting to watch this video until after you've read the series, because I can't guarantee that there will be no spoilers. Now that you've been warned, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. So the first book in the series is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is a young adult thriller series written by Holly Jackson. So I'll read the back of the book to start with, and then we'll just go from there on reviewing it. This is a story of an investigation turned obsession. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend Sal Singh, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how tragedy still haunts her town. Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first just to cast doubt on the original investigation. But soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent, and the line between past and present begin to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. So, if you read the young adult genre, if you're on TikTok or Facebook, then you have probably heard of this book. It was popular last year and kind of into the beginning of 2022. Sorry, I got notes written down, so if you see me look down, that's what it is. So I read the first book a little over a year ago and remember really enjoying it when I first read it. It was a one-day read for me. And the plotline kept me interested from start to finish. To be honest, there was such a big gap in between when I read the first book and when I read the second book in the series that I really have to rack my brain to remember what happened in the first book, which tells me that while it was good, it wasn't good enough to stand out to me. So I gave it a 4-star immediately after reading, but now that it's been almost a year since I've read it, I'd probably change that to a 3-star. The book was good. And it was good that the second book kind of reiterated what happened in the first book, because I would not have remembered it if it didn't. So, with all that being said, that leads me into the second book in the series, which is Good Girl, Bad Blood. Now, I'm going to read the back of this to you, same as I did the first one. I will start out by saying, though, that this was my least favorite of the series. Some secrets are too deadly to tell. Pip is not a detective anymore. With the help of Ravi Singh, she released a true crime podcast about the murder case they solved together last year. Though the podcast went viral, Pip insists that her sleuthing days are behind her. But when someone she knows goes missing and the police won't do anything, Pip has no choice but to investigate. After all, Jamie Reynolds disappeared on the very same night the town hosted a memorial for the 6-year anniversary of the deaths of Andy Bell and Sal Singh. It has to be more than a coincidence. Pip follows a trail of clues, uncovering more of her town's dark secrets along the way, and this time everyone is listening. Will she find Jamie before it's too late? It was a well-written book. The second one was still well-written. It took me a few more days to finish than the first one did. And I think a lot of it is it dragged a little and it was kind of repetitive. Like, it went through and reminded you about all the stuff that happened in the first one. If you're going to read the series, I highly suggest reading the first one and then going right into the second one, or else the book's not going to make much sense because a lot of the characters come back. It focuses a lot on the same characters, not just Pip and Ravi, but also on Max Hastings, Andy Bell, Nat Da Silva, and more. While reading it, I felt like this book was just a little repetitive, and I felt like the whole storyline was filler to connect the first book to the second one. Or, sorry, it's the third one. I gave it a 2.5 star, which doesn't mean it was bad. It was still a good book. It was a filler book. The storyline didn't make much sense. I think they went way out there, but they had to figure out a story to connect the first and third book. But with all of that being said, that leads me to the third and final book, As Good as Dead. Now, you'll notice this is the only one in the series that I have on hardcover. That's because as of the time that I'm recording this, they have not released a paperback version of this. So I had to get in hardcover. I found it on Book Outlet, I think. So it was a really cheap price. But As Good as Dead is without a doubt my favorite book in the series. You'll never think a good girl's the same way again. Pip is about to head to college, but she's still haunted by the way her last investigation ended. She's used to online death threats in the wake of her viral true crime podcast, but she can't help noticing an anonymous person who keeps asking her, who will look for you when you're the one who disappears? Soon the threats escalate, and Pip realizes that someone is following her in real life. When she starts to find connections between her stalker and a local serial killer caught 6 years ago, she wonders if maybe the wrong man is behind bars. Police refuse to act, so Pip has only one choice: find the suspect herself, or be the next victim. As the deadly game plays out, Pip discovers that everything in her small town is coming full circle. If she doesn't find the answers, this time she'll be the one who disappears. This book took the series completely off the rails, including they added things in here that you don't expect to be inside of a young adult thriller. There was kidnapping, there was serial killers, there was PTSD, and a murder setup. This book's had me stopping so many times to ask myself just what in the hell happened. You get halfway through the book and think that it's done, and then you could have wrapped it up after the first half of the book, and then it takes a whole completely new turn. And I'm sitting here going, what the hell? So, spoiler alert, Pip is suffering from a major meltdown following the things she witnessed at the end of the second book, and she seeks out revenge and justice in one of the most cutthroat ways I've ever read. She takes this shit far. This one was a solid 4-star read for me. Now, because I do know a few people who have problems with gore and they don't like to read stuff like that, first and second book are perfectly fine. There's not a whole lot of gore. There's not a whole lot of descriptions of bodies or stuff like that. The third one has a little bit more, guys. As I said, there's a murder set up and a serial killer. So there's a little bit more of a description on what happens inside of that one. So I will warn you, there's a little bit of a gore warning in this third one for my friends who don't like that stuff. Now, let's discuss the series as a whole. This was without a doubt a very young adult book. And what I mean by that is you can tell it was written for a younger generation. I like the fact that the romance between Pip and Ravi wasn't shoved down our throats. It wasn't a major thing. But on the other hand, I felt like the book in general lacked personality. The characters were hard to relate to, and I found that the third book, I wasn't invested enough in the characters to feel the sympathy that I feel the author was trying to portray. Because Pip messes up, and I know you're supposed to feel sorry for her. I don't feel sorry for her. I know I should. I didn't relate to the characters well enough to be able to want to do that. Overall, I gave the series a 3-star, which is not bad. It is not a series that I'd read again, but if you are into YA thrillers, I would suggest reading it at least once, because it is an interesting story. If you are a fan of any books written by Karen McManus, these would be good books for you, because they are a lot like One of Us is Next and One of Us is Lying, which I read last year. So it very much gives those types of vibes. So thank you guys so much for watching. So the way we're going to be doing this over the next few months, this is my goal. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. I have a lot going on in life right now. But I'm hoping to do one book review a week to be let out. So let me know if in the comments below if there are any books that you think I should read or you want me to review that I've already read. I'll be doing some videos at the beginning of each month. I'm aiming, doesn't mean I'll get to it. I'm aiming to do a video showing all the 10 books I plan on reading in a month, because I read about 10 books a month. And I'll go through with you what ones I plan on reading, and you guys can let me know in the comments below what ones you want me to do book reviews on. So, like, subscribe, you know the whole big deal, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.